hello, and welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. Hope you guys had an amazing Friday. It is Friday, by the way, guys, so, if you're looking forward to listening to this podcast later on tonight, after you had a couple of good, making you feel good kind of drinks, hanging out, maybe you're having some, some disgusting fast food. I'm just kidding, no. But, sometimes I know how sometimes I know how it works. Sometimes, you come back from hanging out with the boys and you just kind of want to, just kind of dwell on, maybe lose yourself in some videos on YouTube. Some people get stuck straight up. Sometimes I gotta be honest, I get stuck on, on Instagram or anything like that. I'm just kind of, flicking through reels and stuff like that. And, most of them are funny. Actually, to be honest, all of them are kind of comedic. So, I'm just laughing in the bathroom. Everyone's kind of looking at, ear to the door. They're like, what the? Like, what's going on with this guy? Like, what is he doing in the bathroom? I'm just kidding. Or am I? I'm just kidding. Moving on. We have an amazing show for you today, all lined up. We're going to talk about some WWE Smackdown preview. We're going to talk about my Thursday Night Wrestling review, jump into the ring of TNA and the world of Ring of Honor. We're going to talk about that. And then our third segment, we have Power Rankings. We have Wrestling Power Rankings. We got the men first, and then we got the women in the fourth segment. And the fifth segment, we're gonna, something that I do every single Friday. I give you guys my my Friday night wrestling news roundup. We're gonna get into that. But before we do any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up the super chat that you guys see there, that $sign next to that chat box. Whatever you guys put in there, it's gonna be featured and guaranteed to be talked about on the show. Whether if you got a brand new question or hot take in terms of professional wrestling, or just even, just have something even dying to get off your chest here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do want you guys to feel absolutely 1,010% open. We want you guys to feel like you can share anything on this podcast. And it's nice to hear a different perspective. It's, definitely, I don't want to be here the whole hour just me yelling at the mic or anything like that. Love a lot of audience engagement, obviously 1,010%. I'm a people person. I just, whether if you give me a shout out over where you're listening from, maybe it's Dan from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or maybe it's, Sheila from Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm just kidding. We just want you guys to feel absolutely open, 1,010%. Do not be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, why not use that super chat box? So, go ahead and hit up that $sign right by that chat box. Whatever you put inside that box is going to be featured on the show 1,010%. So, let's go and have a nice little back and forth conversation. Also, it's a great way to support the GSMC Sports Network to make these amazing podcasters we have here on the network, their one goal is to make sure that they are entertaining you guys, bringing you guys the sports content that you guys love so dang much. So make sure you guys, be a bigger part of the podcast. We definitely need you guys' support 1,010%. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's get this party started. And make sure you send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is, bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, super chat, not your thing. It's all good. Go ahead and hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. But, of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. Criticisms, disagreements, it happens. It's all gravy, baby. It's all good in the neighborhood. Just feel free to chime in. So, obviously feedback is a gift. We just want to make sure that you guys, are enjoying this show. All right. So, without further ado, let's talk about some WWE Smackdown. Tonight, we are live in Milwaukee. Yeah, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's, going to be... going to be pretty awesome. So tonight we have a pretty awesome show. We have a pretty good show tonight. We have the number one we have the Street Profits taking on the Motor City Machine Guns for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin has been, they've been absolutely on fire ever since they started here. They won the tag team titles. It was the right move. It was the right move for WWE to put the titles on Shelley and Sabin because like I like Austin Theory. I'm all right with Grayson Waller, although I feel like Grayson Waller would be, better put in WWE NXT, because right now you don't really have a guy like Grayson Waller to kind of take his place. So I feel, with the Grayson Waller effect, it's like a talk show or whatever. I feel like they can make it work on Tuesday nights, and I don't think, there's not a sliver or like a doubt in my mind being that, like Grayson Waller, he's impressive. Obviously, anybody who laces their boots and step inside the squared circle, they're impressive as hell. No questions asked. But Grayson Waller, when I felt like he made his debut to WWE, the main roster, I felt like, it was a little premature, and they did this thing with him and Austin Theory. And, once when Austin Theory was promised a push by Vince McMahon, that was Vince McMahon's kind of that was his last guy. That was his last, Austin Theory is going to be the future of WWE. He was the last guy to be pushed by Vince McMahon. And once when everything happened with Vince McMahon, with the hush money, with the Janelle Grant case, and then Vince McMahon kind of went AWOL, it kind of left Austin Theory without a future, without a purpose, without any character development. They were basically kind of keeping him on the back burner, winning matches here and there. He won the Money in the Bank briefcase, which I thought was going to be, at first when he won the Money in the Bank briefcase, I was like, okay, this is going to be the next guy that they in the WWE that they ultimately promote. But once when he lost it to for me, I thought it was embarrassing. I thought it was embarrassing for Austin Theory to lose his Money in the Bank cash in, because he definitely has the he has the stuff. He has the he has the charisma. He has the look. He could be a WWE champion hands down. So how that's gonna go, not too sure. But all I know is the Street Profits better get treated with more respect. The Street Profits, D'Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, have both voiced their frustrations with WWE publicly. So, I liked that they got the tag team titles off Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. I thought that was the right move. In my opinion, I didn't think that they should have had those titles to begin with. And I'm not trying to hit on this new young bloodline that Solo Sikoa is ultimately trying to develop. But right now, the tag team division on Monday Night Raw is, it needs help. It's not in a good spot right now. And, you had a chance for the Street Profits to, beat a team like A-Town Down Under. But for some strange reason, they're like, keep the titles on Theory and Waller, when these guys should be, Austin Theory, I want to see him in the United States title picture. Maybe he finds a way to kind of be the next guy to challenge LA Knight for that WWE United States Championship. And maybe Grayson Waller gets a little maybe gets a little somber, maybe gets a little jealous, maybe he wants to prove that he's been hiding in the shadow of Austin Theory, and maybe a feud starts from that. For me, I just want to see Austin Theory do better, and I want to see Grayson Waller kind of be approached to, kind of have that approach from WWE, being like, I'm not a joke. I'm actually a hard-earned wrestling, veteran kind of thing. I think the best place for him to be at is, especially once when this tag team kind of dissolves, I think the best way for him to kind of establish, a little bit of credibility in the wrestling universe. Because right now, I got to be honest, it kind of seems like, I feel like fans are waiting. You see all over TikTok, you see all over Twitter and Instagram, you see everybody kind of contemplating on how Austin Theory will eventually kind of shake off that dead weight that is Grayson Waller. But, I don't really consider Grayson Waller dead weight. I feel like he just needs to be booked in the right spot. And, I wouldn't be mad if he finds his way back to, WWE NXT. We have a WWE Women's Championship match tonight. We have Nia Jax defending her title against Naomi. This is going to be an interesting match because, Nia Jax is, she has Tiffany Stratton kind of waiting in the wings. And then you also have, Naomi. I thought Naomi would be more or less kind of in the, the WWE Women's United States title kind of picture. But she has not yet, she's pinned Nia Jax a couple of times. Nia Jax can't beat Naomi all by herself. So this is going to be an interesting promo. When I say promo, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match, but overall, this is going to be a promo. This is going to be promo. This is going to be, just, Naomi putting the women's locker room, putting WWE on notice that, she's not going to be taken lightly, and that she's hungry. She's still hungry. It doesn't matter her age, doesn't matter her tenure here in WWE. She's waiting for a chance. And, against Nia Jax, it's not the right spot. It's not the right spot. I doubt, I'm 99.7% sure that Nia Jax will retain her title tonight. But, Naomi's going to give her one hell of a fight. This is going to be one of those matches where ultimately you will lose. But at the end of the match, you're going to be like, you know what? At the end of the day, you kind of won that match. Basically, based on the way you performed inside the ring, how you kind of held your own, and that Nia Jax is going to be here by just like a sliver of like a margarine, it's going to be this close. So it's going to give Naomi some momentum heading toward the WWE Women's United States Championship, tournament, or I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know how Nick Aldis is going to do it. But, I feel like that's what, tonight basically is going to be. Tiffany Stratton, does she cash in tonight? I doubt it. Definitely one thing about Tiffany Stratton, I feel like because of, the men's Money in the Bank was wasted with the Drew McIntyre CM Punk rivalry. This definitely kind of has to hold up as one of the best cash-ins in women's championship histories. I feel like, Nia Jax needs to, I like this animosity between her and Tiffany Stratton. So people kind of have this notion, kind of have this theory, kind of have this thought in the back of their mind that, hey, you know what, at any moment, Tiffany Stratton accompanies Nia Jax to the ring every single championship match, every single match that she has. And she has, she can cash in. She can cash in whenever she wants. So, her not cashing in right away, kind of flirting with it, kind of teasing the fans a little bit time after time after time, after time. Again, I feel like it's good, building up for Tiffany Stratton to finally cash in on Nia Jax. She will not guarantee you, she will not cash in on Liv Morgan. We're going to see, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. We're gonna see them kind of patch things up. It's gonna seem great, and it's gonna be at the least time you expect it. Tiffany Stratton's going to become the new WWE Women's Champion, and I feel like at this point in her career, it's right. It's right. I feel like if Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank briefcase cash-in is a failure, all this anticipation for basically nothing. So this is something that WWE needs to handle with delicacy, obviously, needs to do it right. I want to see Tiffany Stratton holding that title. I know that they were kind of being like back and forth with, Charlotte Flair coming back and, her and Tiffany having a match at WrestleMania 41 for that WWE Women's Championship match. So for that, I get it. I can see how that can definitely, you kind of have the younger version of Charlotte Flair. She has so much charisma. She has so much talent. She's amazing in the ring. Tiffany Stratton, definitely got to give her flowers. But at the end of the day, going up against people like Nia Jax or top tier contenders like Charlotte Flair, it's not going to be easy. It's definitely not going to be easy, but it's going to ultimately make the battle seem like, that it's worth it. And it's going to make fans fall in love with her. 1,010% going to be a great way to kind of put her on the map as a babyface. So I definitely think that's going to be, definitely that's going to be a building future storyline for WWE. Kevin Owens, obviously now more dangerous than ever, is, on the prowl. Randy Orton has not, been confirmed on WWE SmackDown, but it's going to be interesting to find out how Kevin Owens finds his way into, into this whole, I was betrayed, they stabbed me in the back, I feel threatened. And, I've seen things on wrestling media like Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn also is probably going to be confronted by Kevin Owens. And, for him, stepping in and helping Roman Reigns after everything that they've basically done. They had to team up together to dethrone the Usos and from the WWE, Undisputed Championships. So Kevin Owens is going to have some words for Sami Zayn. Maybe building up a match for that. Maybe building up a feud that those two have. But now we're kind of building up to WWE Survivor Series, and we have about 14, 15 days, so it's about 2 weeks away. Who's going to be that fifth member in the original Bloodline, in the original Bloodlines War Games, team. Sami Zayn wanted Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. He went up to him, but it wasn't really, it didn't really come in fruition. And then, the new young bloodline with Solo Sikoa asked, they asked Seth as well. What if they ask Kevin? Like, I know Kevin hates the bloodline. Like, he despises everything that, that family has to do on SmackDown. But what if he joins the bloodline? What if he is the fifth member in the War Games match? That automatically, sucks Cody Rhodes back into the storyline, because he feels like he has to, defend Cody Rhodes' honor, and, he has to defend Randy Orton's honor. Last week on SmackDown, you saw him suffered, a pile driver. So, that could definitely be a building storyline heading forward, but, it should be pretty interesting. And, once again, the WWE Women's United States Championship was unveiled last week on SmackDown. What is Nick Aldis going to do? Is he going to introduce like a Queen of the Ring kind of tournament, or is he going to have just go out and flat out have like a battle royal, or maybe he gives the title to somebody that could that could be interesting as well. Tommaso Ciampa in DIY, Lord only knows what he's going to do. Like I said, definitely do not want him and Johnny Gargano to split up. Obviously Johnny Gargano's love for Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and the Motor City Machine Guns, obviously they have their chemistry. But, Tommaso Ciampa's kind of left in the back. He doesn't really know if Johnny Gargano has his mind on the prize because he knows those guys. So, I want to see something big from DIY. I don't even want to necessarily have them go heel because I know Tommaso Ciampa single-handedly defeated Pretty Deadly last week on SmackDown. So, I'm interested, I'm invested in this storyline. I just hope that it doesn't end with, a feud between DIY once again, because they've done that before. Like, we had these, you had that gruesome, unsanctioned match between him and Johnny Gargano. And, they left it all out in the ring. And they kind of had them coming back together as they debuted on WWE SmackDown and Raw. And now all of a sudden, like, they were the tag team champions, but then Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga were the ones to kind of dethrone them, which sucked. I hated it. I definitely did not like it. And, now that they kind of dropped the titles in there, in that match after Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin won that ladder, and it, like, all of a sudden they're the, I don't know. For me, I was like, it seems like it just wasn't really done well. So I think the tag team division on SmackDown needs a lot of work. The United States champion LA Knight seeks someone new to beat after winning, after defeating Andrade and Carmelo Hayes at WWE Crown Jewel. More Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill build up for their. Will they have a War Games match? After Monday Night Raw. After it went off the air last Monday, you saw Rhea Ripley return. You saw her stand in the ring next to Io Sky, next to Naomi, next to Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, going up against perhaps Team Liv Morgan with Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, also Candice LeRae, and you also saw, who else was there? Damn it. Who else was in the women's so-called War Games match? I can't think of it. Was it Pure Fusion Collective? No, it wasn't. Damn it. I'm going to remember later on the show and be like, oh my God, that was it. Should be pretty interesting. What's going on with Giovanni Vinci? When is he going to, what's his purpose? After losing to Apollo Crews, what's going on with Apollo? There's a lot of talent in WWE on SmackDown that's kind of being swept under the rug. Also, Shinsuke Nakamura, what's going to happen with this dude? There's there's a lot of things that WWE obviously needs to clear up, and hopefully this will be the show that they kind of do so. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into my Thursday night wrestling review when we come back. So hey, do not go absolutely anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network. Talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, and drama. We talk about superstar inactive statuses, injury updates, also contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show 1,010%. So just kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had my WWE Smackdown preview / talk. Now we're going to jump on into my Thursday Night Wrestling review. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor and TNA. But before we do any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat right there. Whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network, we want to make sure that you guys, whatever you guys that's been dying to get off your chest, it's going to be featured on the show. We are all ears. The show is all about keeping the conversation lively, making sure that you guys feel like your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy and drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on television, on live streaming TV, we want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up the super chat. Hit up that $sign be next to that chat box right there. And whatever you guys put inside there is going to be featured. It's going to be guaranteed to be talked about on this show 1,010%. Plus, you guys donating and doing all that is a great way to support the channel. Keep all these amazing podcasters with one goal in mind, to make sure that you guys consume all the amazing sports content that you guys love so damn much for absolutely free. So make sure you guys continue to do that. We are super grateful and thank you in advance for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, and together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat not your thing, go ahead and hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But of course, in terms of talking sports, wrestling, disagreements happen. Obviously, there's going to be some criticisms. It's all good. It's all gravy. It's all good in the neighborhood. Feedback is a gift. So just want to make sure you guys feel, nice and comfortable when you guys, engage in the chat. All right, I got my man Anthony Mazzano in the house. Damn, haven't seen you in a while, man. How you doing? Hope you all doing well. Hope you have a nice, fun-filled weekend with you and your loved ones and your family. It's always good to see it's always good to see a cool guy. All right, so now we're jumping on into some TNA Impact. This episode is going to, obviously, it's going to start off great. It's going to have to start off great. TNA Impact has been one of those wrestling promotions that ultimately, it's like a diamond in the rough. You have all these amazing superstars like Mike Santana, like Steve Macklin, like, Nick Nemeth, of course, as well as, Joe Hendry, your man Joe Hendry. Also, who's the guy who's like the ultimate villain right now? There's Moose, there's the System. The women's division is actually pretty darn good. Make sure you guys tune into that. Will we see any NXT stars hop onto the TNA bandwagon? Maybe Brinley Reese. She's been there a couple of times. Wendy Chu. on NXT, seems like she doesn't have a character development. Doesn't really seem like she has not really a purpose or anything like that. And it kind of seems messed up because Wendy Chu has been she's been good. She's been good. But ultimately, we're gonna find out what happens tonight. Mike Santana taking on Casey Navarro with AJ Francis. Obviously, this match was kind of like how Santana is going to be able to kind of compete with somebody who could absolutely cheat to win. Casey Navarro with AJ Francis at his side. It's it's sometimes the stocks, when it's against you, it sucks. It sucks. But as I kind of think how TNA is going to push Mike Santana, I feel like he's going to be the next big thing. I feel like he's going to be a future TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and I feel like he's the next guy in line. He was able to defeat the odds, defy the odds, and win. So, that's obviously good for Mike Santana, building up his, repertoire in terms of professional wrestling. Next, we had Trent Seven turning on Mike Bailey after last week's main event showdown. Gia Miller is back with Ace Austin and the Hardys. She says that they'll be back in a 6-man match at Turning Point before she can announce their opponents. Trent Seven gets in their faces. Jake Something and Hammerstone enter the fray and help Trent Seven beat up the Hardys and Ace Austin. Santino Marella breaks it up and calls for a doctor. Then we have the Rascals, Zachary Wentz and oh my god, I can't believe Trey. Damn it, I apologize. I'm kind of dig. Oh, here we go. Damn it, I can't believe I forgot his name. That's crazy. Trey Miguel. Wow. Jake Christ and Zachary Wentz obviously started off the match. It was a good match. Something that the Rascals bring to professional wrestling, to your professional wrestling, promotion. They bring a lot of high flying. They bring a lot of charisma, enthusiasm. They bring a lot of, a lot of spunk. I don't know if that's the right word. A lot of like in your face kind of attitude a little bit, and you're just excited to see them every single time you flip on the tube there. I like the Rascals. Them breaking up with Wesley on NXT. I was kind of hoping that they would kind of, bring that out a little bit more, being honest. But that's my opinion. But, I definitely hated that they, kind of split up. I thought it was a nice little, kind of threesome you had there. I thought that was pretty badass. The Rascals obviously come out victorious. They are once again going to go after tag team gold, trying to dethrone the system once again. Hated it how they got their titles back at TNA Bound for Glory. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but the Rascals could definitely dethrone them, and it's good that the tag team division on TNA kind of goes through a different, ultimately kind of evolves to like a tag team mentality. Like, of course you have you have the system. They're the tag team champions. Whenever they're holding the gold, they dictate their matches. It's all about power. It's all about, how we can get on top of these guys the moment the bell rings. And, just kind of club these guys to death a little bit, not really having any flair. And, the Rascals are all flair. So I definitely think that's a nice, about them going against each other. The system. Josh Alexander and the Northern Armory is going to take on Jonathan Grisham, Eric Young, and Steve Macklin. Of course, you had Josh Alexander and the Northern Armory kind of keep this momentum. They've kind of recently introduced this new faction with some good old fashioned like American U.S. dudes. So I'm glad that they're giving Josh Alexander a good storyline, because I know it's been kind of on, in talks that he was kind of flirting in and out of TNA. Also, Speedball Mike Bailey as well, might not return to TNA, and I feel like that's a huge loss. I feel like TNA needs to sign Mike Bailey. They need to sign Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander is kind of like a new modern day, he's amazing inside the ring. The way he's able to kind of tell the story with his ground game, the way he's kind of being able to kind of, what's the right word? Kind of like that. he packs a punch. He definitely packs a punch 1,010%. But what's like a ground and pound game kind of thing, where you kind of break them down, where you kind of use your strength to kind of get these guys on the ground with your striking abilities. Also maybe like a submission here and there. That's something that Josh Alexander could definitely do well. And I'm just happy that he's he found himself in the winners column today or last night on TNA Impact. All right, so we have Ryan Nemeth taking on Joe Hendry. Do you believe in Joe Hendry or do you believe in Ryan Nemeth? Obviously, Joe Hendry continues his momentum, and it's getting a little troublesome for Joe Hendry. I got to be honest. You got Ryan, you got Nick, kind of breathing down his neck a little bit. And, Joe Hendry's obviously a huge fan favorite. I don't want to be put in a position, or I don't want to see a position where you see Nick, where you see Ryan Nemeth kind of feel like they have to turn, heel to ultimately kind of feel like they serve a purpose in TNA wrestling. I don't want to see that. I like, Nick Nemeth as the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Definitely thought he should have won the belt a little earlier than, but eventually, it came in fruition. So it was all good. Obviously, we're building up toward TNA Turning Point. We got Rosemary taking on Jada Stone. Rosemary gets back into the win column. Obviously, she's on a two-match winning streak. She defeated Wendy Chu last week, so Rosemary, when she made her way to TNA or to NXT, I liked it. I thought it was interesting to kind of see her in the TNA WWE kind of district a little bit. And I think when WWE hits Netflix, where you can kind of have more of an open, promos for these superstars, where it could be a little bit more dark, could be a little bit more, gory, maybe a little bit more like horror film movie like, backstage, promos and videos and stuff like that. So, I'm interested to kind of find out if Rosemary, obviously she's going to be successful wherever she lands, but if she finds her way back to WWE NXT. All right, so we got a TNA champion, Nick Nemeth, versus Brian Myers. Obviously, his friend Eddie and Alicia Edwards were, by his side. Definitely got to, I have the amazing, honor to tell you guys that he did not beat Nick Nemeth, which is good because I would have lost my mind. I'm just kidding, no. Because last week you saw Moose dethrone Speedball Mike Bailey for the X Division Championship, which I wasn't really a huge fan of. I thought that was stupid. No one wants to see another title reign by Moose that lasts more than like months after months after months. Like, we had that with the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Damn it. Why do you want to give this guy the X Division Championship? Like, it's like Brock Lesnar, winning the United States Championship in WWE. Just, who else can beat him? Like, I don't know. For me, I didn't like that. That kind of left a distasteful, thing in my mouth. So Nick Nemeth was able to, get the victory. Obviously, Joe Hendry, he was able to kind of help Nick Nemeth. He wants what's going on between him, Nick, and Ryan to kind of be smoothed over, and it will be, and that's. But you always have to have that lingering, betrayal. You always have to kind of have that lingering. What if? That's what makes professional wrestling, kind of stand out. Like, a lot of people kind of compare watching professional wrestling to like an adult soap opera. It's not that far off. It is choreographed. It is scripted and storylined. But at the end of the day, it's awesome. It's great. That's why professional wrestling has been around for so damn long. All right, now we got some Ring of Honor Club results that happened November 14th, obviously last night. We had the Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett defeat the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leonoa. And it was great. It was, definitely loved that. It was, it was pretty awesome. I loved seeing the Undisputed Kingdom get back into the win column after they lost at the New Japan Professional Wrestling PLE. And, you see them recently, helping out Roderick Strong on AEW Dynamite. Him going against Konosuke Takeshita. And then you saw, Brian Cage, the Ring of Honor television champion, get involved. So it was nice to see the Undisputed Kingdom, get back into the winners column. Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara defeats Love, Doug, and T.J. Crawford. Griff Garrison and Preston Vance defeat Waves and Kurt Curls, Jalen Braylon, and obviously Trayvon Jordan. Katsuyori Shibata defeated Aaron Solo. Commander with Alex Abrahantes defeated Josh Woods. We saw Abaddon defeat Viva Van. That kind of sucks for Viva Van. I definitely, her push in Ring of Honor. The Righteous with Vincent and Dutch defeated Jimmy Diaz and Matt Raven. Red Velvet defeated Diamante in a street fight to retain her Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship, which is, which was right, which was the right thing to do. I personally feel like, Red Velvet has been one of the top superstars in Ring of Honor, in the women's division. Also, just all in all, just all of wrestling from Tony Khan's promotion. So I want to see her do, I don't want to say bigger, better things because I don't want to seem like I'm diminishing anything that she's already kind of done. But, it's, I feel like it's going to be great. I feel like it's going to be great whatever she does. Obviously, Ring of Honor is lucky to have her as the Ring of Honor World Television Women's Champion. And, only time will tell what's going to happen here. But obviously, I feel like she has a huge future. She has she's looking forward to a lot of success in the future. And nobody right now at this point, I feel like can take her down. Her beating Diamante was a nice challenge. So I definitely love the momentum that she's building up from there. Also, we had Athena she held an emergency MEE meeting with Lexi Nair and Billy Starks. She basically, we had Alexis Nair say to Billy Starks, basically, is she ready to apologize to the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion? And it's building up. It's building up to, we're going to see Athena going up against Billy Starks. And for me, I got to be honest, I love it. It's going to be one of the best women's feud, heading toward, the end of professional wrestling, not the end of professional wrestling, but usually around the holidays, I got to be honest, professional wrestling, maybe it seems like, and I don't want to jinx it, maybe with baseball being over, with the NFL kind of lingering toward, mid to like a couple of weeks mid of the schedule. Professional wrestling has a great way to kind of step up and be inside your television, inside your home. So I feel like some big things are going to happen with Athena, also with Billy Starks. Billy Starks, she was an admirable champion. I loved her as the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion. I definitely think when her and MIT when they held all the gold, and now you kind of have Billy Starks. They're kind of like left in the cold. Athena obviously prefers Lexi Nair, which I don't know why, but I love that Billy Starks is going to be. I hope that she's going to dethrone Athena. I do, and I do love Athena. Obviously, I loved Athena when she was Ember Moon in NXT. That's when I fell in love with her, but as a wrestler. But I don't know. Her reign has been historic. Who else to kind of dethrone her, give her some time off from the promotion? No one better than Billy Starks. I got to be honest. The fans are starting to like her. They're starting to kind of warm up to like her. They like her deal. So the only way Ring of Honor can kind of right this and kind of make sure that the Ring of Honor World Women's Championship is in good hands if they, have it on a champion that, or, have it on a superstar that achieved gold and success herself, before obviously making up to the top of the Gestapo. So I feel like, Billy Starks would be a nice little, piece of the puzzle to kind of overtake that. All right, guys, so hey, that was my Thursday night wrestling review. Now we're going to talk about my wrestling power rankings. We got power rankings tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about it when we come back. We got the men's first. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice-cold beverage. I'm going to give you guys my top 10 wrestlers in the men's division when we come back. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, we talk about rumors, we talk about injury updates, we talk about superstar, inactive statuses, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about, from promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to New Japan Professional Wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1010% on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you guys, tune in. All right. So without further ado, we got some power rankings here. I'm going to give you guys my top 10 men. So without further ado, let's get it started. All right. At number 10, I got Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, obviously, he's the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. He was able to dethrone Mark Briscoe, and I love the Mark Briscoe so damn much. I gotta be honest, it kind of burns me to be like, oh, he's not the champion anymore. Chris Jericho, throughout his tenure with professional wrestling, he has that factor. He has that it factor. He knows how to cut good promos. He's the best at being good. He's the best at being bad. So Chris Jericho definitely comes in at number 10. At number 9, I got Kyle Fletcher. I gotta be honest, I know what you guys might be thinking, but I feel like this kid's gonna blow up. I feel like he definitely, he's going to be the talk of the town in terms, especially with his match with Will Ospreay and AEW Full Gear. This is just the icing on the cake. I don't see any reason why he will lose the Will. I feel like ultimately that will kind of kill his push. I feel like he is a star. He's a major star. He was he had a nice little tenure as the Ring of Honor men's television champion. And I feel like he's going to be big. I feel like he's going to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever. I feel like he's going to come back. I feel like he's going to defeat Will Ospreay. Obviously, kind of getting under the, getting out of the shadow of his mentor. And, eventually kind of be all he can be. All right, at number 8, I got Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker once again. At number 8, it's not bad. I wanted to put him higher, but I was like, you know what? So far with the WWE Intercontinental Championship, it's been a little inconsistent. I don't know who's his next opponent going to be. I necessarily don't want to see him lose it to some not A-lister or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. But I want, I love Braun Breaker going up against Sheamus next week on Monday Night Raw for the Intercontinental Championship. I just, you gotta love and respect what Braun Breaker is doing right now. He's definitely the fastest. He's the strongest. He cuts good promos. He kind of reminds me of his uncle more or less than his father. When Scott was doing it in WCW and his short tenure with WWE and his short tenure with TNA, he just knows how to, how to rile the crowd up. Knows how to get them on his side. Knows how to, get people to invest in, watching this matchup, watching him defend his championship. So I got to be honest, Braun Breaker right now, he's in a good spot. If there's anybody who could have, dethroned Jey Uso for the Intercontinental Championship, it definitely had to be Braun Breaker. So, kudos to him. At number 6, I got the AEW International Champion Konosuke Takeshita coming off of a huge victory off TJP. I thought that was pretty badass. And coming off of a cheap, but then again, he's a heel, so it's okay. Coming off of a cheap victory against the, Adam Cole, baby. Boom! But overall, you got to respect what Konosuke Takeshita is doing right now. I feel like with the Don Callis family has been absolutely rejuvenated. he's just something. He's something special, and a lot of people don't like the way Konosuke Takeshita wrestles. I've read a lot of wrestling media kind of criticisms about Takeshita, but I like him. I think he's doing great. I feel like he's definitely growing, and he's gonna be an amazing thing in this Don Callis family. So obviously only time will tell, but it's gonna be pretty awesome. All right, at number 5, I got the LA Knight. The LA Knight, still doing great things on SmackDown. Nobody's going to beat this guy. Not Andrade. Not Carmelo. Carmelo Hayes. Is he really him? I'm just kidding. But the LA Knight, I got to be honest, I would have preferred him as a heel. But the fans like him. The fans love him. The way that he comes out and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I dig it. I feel like it's something that wrestling has needed for quite some time. The United States champion, obviously before that, Logan Paul. Logan Paul was good too. I'm not really hating on Logan Paul, but the LA Knight he has a way to he has a way to connect with the fans, and that's something that a lot of professional wrestlers and a lot of wrestling fans kind of underestimate. And just every single time you put on the TV, you're like, the LA Knight. He's on the, he's proving once again why he's a complete and utter badass. But I like the LA Knight. So moving on, we have at number 4, we have Gunther, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. On Monday Night Raw, he looked a little spooked. I got to be honest. I like that Gunther is showing a little vulnerability. I personally thought when Gunther became the champion, I was like, I don't want to see him in this kind of like in this heel role. But I like the way he's, I know he doesn't exuberate a lot of confidence lately on Monday Night Raw, but I like the way his character is kind of holding himself up. Like, I like that fans are kind of starting to get to know this sensitive side of Gunther. And, I like that. I don't know. I like the fact that the fans kind of are stuck in a situation or put in a situation where they're like, you know what? I could be a Gunther fan. I can definitely warm up to this guy. I can definitely feel like, because he puts on amazing matches. If there's anybody who deserves the WWE Championship, it's got to be Gunther. Definitely. The World Heavyweight Championship. Him winning the Intercontinental Championship, obviously having one of the longest reigns in Intercontinental Championship history, 666 days, surpassed the Cowboy Bob Orton, or also was it the Honky Tonk Man? I think it was. But overall, you gotta respect what Gunther's doing right now. Like, he's on this list solely because of my utter and dying loyalty and respect to this guy. Because not a lot of people could have did it. And having Monday Night Raw on your back, they had Damian Priest before him. A lot of people were like, oh, okay, their whole, Damian Priest. They never really acknowledged the true grit. Never really acknowledged Damian Priest as as a champion. They thought he was a transitional champion. I gotta be honest, I was kind of guilty as well. And the moment Gunther holds that title, the moment he wins, you're kind of like, all right, now we're back on the board again. So, definitely, Gunther deserves all the flowers coming in at number 4. At number 3, Nick Nemeth, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, still on this list. And, he's been killing it. Like I mentioned before in the last segment, he should have been TNA World Heavyweight Champion a long-ass time ago. Man, he should have been there a long-ass time ago. But, sometimes it doesn't really work out like that. He won the title at TNA Slammiversary. Sorry, excuse me. Damn it. Why is this happening right now? I think he is going to be the champion for quite some time. He's going to have a rematch later on down the line with Joe Hendry, and maybe the only one to kind of, dethrone somebody as loved as Nick Nemeth and respected is probably Joe Hendry. Right now, Joe Hendry and Ryan Nemeth are kind of at odds right now. Kind of like, what's your deal, pal? Like, are you really, a friend or a foe? So, I don't know. It should be interesting to find out how TNA kind of puts these guys against each other. At number 2, I got the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr., although he did lose, on Friday or Saturday. It was, New Japan Professional Wrestling's fighting Spirit Unleashed. But he lost. He lost in a tag team match. You know, I love Zack Sabre Jr. You know, bad guy Tito wasn't really holding up his end of the bargain. Of course, when you're going against anybody with Tomohiro Ishii, who's going to take on Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. You know, Zack Sabre Jr., I saw this guy's potential the moment he kind of started being big. Once when he was kind of losing matches, I was like, you know what, this isn't really, you know, his style doesn't really match up to the way I feel like, in my opinion, that Tony Khan wants this guy to be portrayed. This guy has literally been one of the best champions in professional wrestling. And I know a lot of, you know, just because he's not on Raw, just because he's not on Smackdown, just because he's not, you know, NXT, WWE, you know, rarely on, not really on AEW, to be honest. You know, he finds a way to kind of, you know, be successful. And that's something that a champion, that's, you know, championship aspirations right there. All right, next we have, oh my God, Cody Rhodes, the WWE World Heavyweight, the WWE Undisputed Champion. Cody Rhodes coming in at number 1. What's more to say than Cody Rhodes is being Cody Rhodes right now. You know, he was brought back to WWE because they needed a spark. They needed somebody to kind of, you know, pitch a wedge in this, you know, bloodline storyline with Roman Reigns, The Rock, the Usos, and stuff like that. Cody Rhodes did it. He completed his story, took 2 years and 2 back-to-back Royal Rumble victories. But, you know, here he sits on top of WWE, you know, carrying the company. So, you know, obviously, number 1, we're going to have my man, Cody Rhodes. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about the women now. We talked about the men. Now we're going to talk about my women's wrestling power rankings. We're going to talk about the top 10 women in professional wrestling. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, on the GSMC Sports Network, talking about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We talk about all the backstage curtain calls. We also talk about, you know, superstar injury updates and active statuses, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show with 1,010%. All right, so can I reflect on what we talked about right quick? We had my WWE Smackdown talk. We also talked about my Thursday Night Wrestling review. We talked about TNA, and we also talked about Ring of Honor Honor Club. In our third segment, we talked about my top 10 men in professional wrestling. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the top 10 women in professional wrestling. All right, first and foremost, at number 10, I got Hazuki. Recently earned herself a title shot for Mercedes Moné's New Japan Professional Wrestling Women's Strong Championship at Wrestle Dynasty. I feel like we have good things happening for Hazuki. You know, I don't know if Chris Statlander is going to be the one to kind of dethrone Mercedes Moné at AEW Full Gear for her AEW TBS Championship. I mean, it could happen. It's possible. But she's not going to lose both titles. You know, Tony Khan has made it adamant that he's doing everything in his power to make people fall in love with Mercedes Moné, kind of forcing her down our throats, like WWE did with Roman Reigns back in 2017. But overall, you know, I'm not hating on Mercedes Moné. Her going up against a wrestler like Hazuki. I feel like it'd be great. I would rather see Hazuki win than Chris Statlander. I'm not trying to hate on Statlander at all. But Hazuki being the New Japan Professional Wrestling Women's Strong Champion, you kind of bring it back to New Japan Professional Wrestling, which I feel like it's going to be, it's the best choice. But I don't know. Right now, I'm just not in love with it. At number 9, I got Fallon Henley, the NXT Women's North American Champion. You know, with her being with Fatal Influence right now, it's it's kind of an uphill climb every single time a superstar steps in the ring with her. And that's the way it should be. That's the reason why she's a heel. And that's the reason why professional wrestling loves themselves some Fallon Henley. She does it so damn good. So damn good. I just, JC Jane, I like JC Jane. I like Jasmine Nix. But if any one of those three girls had to be the champion, it would definitely be Fallon Henley. And she's done so damn much in WWE. She's been around for quite some time. Definitely loved her opening up and kind of being a little bit, emotional towards Shawn Michaels after she defeated Keilani Jordan for that title at Halloween Havoc. When it comes to, people being like, you know what, this is kind of bigger. This is bigger than me saving kayfabe. So, definitely love. Maybe that's the reason why I'm kind of, subconsciously behind Fallon Henley here. At number 8, I got Mina Shirakawa. Mina Shirakawa returning to AEW Dynamite last night. Obviously, her and Harley Cameron, that's interesting. Harley Cameron have some issues to settle out. I kind of liked how Renee Paquette kind of stepped in and she was like, you know what, guys, like girls, like calm down right now. But Mina Shirakawa, she's a champion right now. She's the reason why she's brought back to AEW. Maybe she's the one to kind of ultimately dethrone Mariah May's AEW World Women's Championship. Maybe Mariah May as a champion. I like her. I feel like she could be a little bit more, not vocal, that's not the right word. She could be a little bit, more like in your face. She could be a little bit, kind of like Toni Storm was. Like, you don't really get that champion caliber. You don't have that must-watch television. You don't have that, I want to watch AEW because she's the World Women's Champion. Like, right now, and, I'm not trying to compare her to Toni Storm. I'm not trying to compare her to Toni Storm whatsoever. But right now, it doesn't really seem like she's, like, drawing in the tickets. Doesn't really seem like she's, putting butts in the seats. Maybe in the future, I feel like her and, Dr. Britt Baker will fight each other and have an awesome feud. So maybe it's, taking a little bit of time. But right now, I just don't see it. I just don't see it 1,010%. But, I don't know. It could, it could all change. It could definitely all change. All right, at number 7, I have Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné, obviously double champion, something you can't really take away from her. As much as I don't really like it, as much as I feel like she was kind of handed everything the moment she signed with AEW, got all the money, got all the glory, got all the gold. For me, and I'm not a Mercedes Moné hater. I feel like ultimately what she does inside the ring is, it's legible. But, she got it super fast, man. Like, and I know it's, some people, sometimes it's just the lottery strikes. Sometimes, and that's okay. Sometimes you're kind of putting yourself in this position where you kind of get all the opportunities, and obviously all the, all the news media, all the, the attraction, all the popularity, coming around Mercedes Moné when she debuted in the AEW in March. She deserves it. She went out there in WWE. She did her thing. She was out there in New Japan Professional Wrestling. She did her thing. She got injured. So, she deserves the flowers. I'm not saying she doesn't. But overall, I don't know. I feel like she has to lose one belt. She has to. She just has to. I more or less would love to see her as a TBS champion. I would love to see Hazuki kind of, defy the odds and find a way to kind of dethrone her. But, overall, it's all right. It's all right. At number 6, we got the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Women's Champion Mariah May. Like I said before, she could be bigger. She could be doing this a lot better. Maybe there's some restrictions behind AEW. Maybe there's something happening behind the scenes that maybe me and you are not aware of. But right now, Mariah May, compared to Toni Storm, it's a little lackluster. I got to be honest. It doesn't really, it doesn't seem like a dominant kind of, championship run. But then again, like I said, maybe I'm just too attached to it. Obviously, trying to follow the footsteps of Toni Storm, the timeless Toni Storm, it's hard. It's hard. But if you were her confidant, if you were her protege, like Mariah May was, maybe that's the reason why, these feelings are kind of overcoming a lot of these wrestling fans. Is like, okay, you dethroned Toni Storm to kind of put over Mariah May. Like, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But right now, it just doesn't really seem like she's that, like, she doesn't have that it factor. Like, you know what I mean? She comes out and she kind of, she's kind of a jerk. She kind of plays that heel role. But, I don't know. I'm not in love with it. I'm, definitely not in love with it. All right, at number 5, I got Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton comes up number 5 on my list of power rankings. She's going to have, and I feel like WWE needs this, she's going to have the greatest Money in the Bank women's cash-in history. This needs to happen, obviously. She cannot lose. She cannot lose. Because if she does lose, she winds up on Smackdown. Nia Jax feels betrayed. And then we just have smash fest after smash fest after smash fest of Nia Jax defeating Tiffany Stratton, which would be detrimental for WWE, which would be detrimental for the WWE Women's Championship picture on SmackDown, which would be detrimental to Tiffany Stratton's overall career. So right now it's at this point where Tiffany Stratton, especially with the WWE, men's Money in the Bank briefcase wasted on this stupid... on, the storyline with the bracelet, with, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Like, it was cool and all, but, shouldn't have really wasted a briefcase. You could have gave somebody, like a better hype. You could have gave somebody, more of a, better future in WWE, like Carmelo Hayes, like Andrade, or, like Chad Gable, but you didn't. You didn't do it. You just, had it wasted. Drew McIntyre, and then CM Punk, cost him the championship. So maybe that's why I feel like Tiffany Stratton's going to have one of the best Money in the Bank cash-ins in WWE history. And I feel like you kind of owe it to her. I feel like it's a perfect spot. She has that. She's that it girl. She has, she can definitely have that controversy. She can have that attention. She can have negative attention, positive attention. She can be a heel. She can be a babyface. Right now, the fans love her, absolutely love her, and are backing her. As Nia Jax continues to, abuse her power and abuse her sidekick. But I don't know. Right now, it just, it just seems like Tiffany Stratton's time. Number 4, we got Nia Jax. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton back to back. But number 4, the WWE Women's Champion. I'm happy that Nia Jax is. She's having a nice run. She's definitely having a nice dominant run where she is the champion. I feel like she should have got this push a long time ago, but obviously never happened. But right now she's good. She's doing what she has to do inside the ring. Fans are buying into this storyline between her and Tiffy. So I feel like Nia Jax has been doing absolutely everything in her power correctly. So, obviously that's what makes her a champion. That's the reason why, Triple H Paul Levesque was like, we're going to put the belt on Nia because you can build around Nia. You could, she has her, because she's so big, because she's so strong, because her matches are so dominant. A lot of people kind of think it's a waste every single time you fight Nia Jax. But at the end of the day, Nia Jax inside the ring, she's, she's able to kind of dictate the match. Kind of have the moves like, she's able to kind of be a ring general. And, that's probably the best quality you can get from a wrestler. You can have that high-flying ability. You can have that talking crap promotional, repertoire in your arsenal. But at the end of the day, if you wrestle in a match and if you do everything in your power to make sure you look like the best, yeah, it's going to be good. But at the end of the day, if you go out there in a match and you're like, I got to make myself look good, but then I also have to make this other person look good. And like I said, sometimes Nia Jax, she's, she puts over other superstars in her matches. Like if you paid attention to the Queen of the Ring finals match between her and Lyra Valkyria, she looked great. She looked amazing. She looked, phenomenal. So, I feel like that's the reason why I throw some flowers to Nia Jax. Number 3, I got Masha Slamovich, the TNA Knockouts World Heavyweight World Women's Champion. I like her having the belt. Like, she defeated Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace was number 1 on my list for quite some time, the longest time. And, she deserves it. She deserves it. I love Masha Slamovich. I feel like she is definitely going to add a different flavor to the TNA Knockouts, division. And for me, for one, I'm excited. Number 2, we got Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, I don't really have her high on this list. But, the way she's doing it right now, I'm not in love with her matches. I'm definitely not in love with her wrestling style whatsoever. But she's getting better. She is getting better. And that's something that, I can't be a jackass and I can't be like, Liv Morgan botches this. She botches that. Her matches are basically like watching, watching like, a second grader try to wrestle. I like the fact that she's getting better. She's going to be a future in WWE, obviously. Her match against, Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam was, was pretty damn good. It was pretty damn good. Now she finds herself going up against Io Sky. Obviously not going to happen. We're probably going to see her in a War Games match. I want to see how Liv Morgan dictates. I want to see how she's able to kind of be a leader in the War Games match. And if she wins, if her team wins, it's going to be great. It's going to be great for her. And to be honest, I feel like WWE will be better off if her team does win. So, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. At number 1 in the power rankings, we have Liv Morgan's the arch nemesis. We have Rhea Ripley returning to WWE after Monday Night Raw went off air. You saw, this is my brutality. And you saw Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley obviously coming back for her World Heavyweight Championship. I thought, I read a lot of reports saying that she was going to be gone. She wasn't going to show up to the beginning of January when Netflix, accumulates WWE's flagship show, Monday Night Raw. But this is big. This is really big. I feel like, Rhea Ripley's going to start her, you love the belt on Liv, but I got to be honest, Rhea Ripley is more of a, watchable, more of a marketable champion. And at this point, WWE really loves Rhea Ripley. And, I know as simple-minded as that sounds, she just does everything right. She really does. Even in her matches as well. She looks, she makes other people inside the ring look strong. She makes other people inside the ring look like they can be champion. She makes other people inside the ring look like they can actually be WWE superstars. And sometimes that's not that easy to do. Especially with Rhea Ripley's, her strength, her dominance, her charisma, her enthusiasm, the way that she's able to kind of be dominant. No, that's not the right word. The way that she can be so versatile. She can be super versatile. She's like a Swiss Army knife. Like, it's like, hey Ripley, we need you to go. Rhea Ripley, we need you to go out here and do this and that and the other in the match. But we want to make sure that you really, you really kind of portray your arsenal of being athletically gifted and doing submissions. And she's she can do it. She listens to everything Triple H, Paul Levesque has to say. Paul Levesque obviously putting the belt on her because obviously she's a worthy champion. She listens, she learns. Also, she's not afraid to kind of go out there and kind of voice her frustrations as well in terms of her character development, which she's done in the past. So Rhea Ripley right now is the future of WWE. Obviously, getting a new contract has should have been like a clue, oddly enough. But, at number 1, I got Rhea Ripley. And I know she's not a champion, and I know she has not yet formally debuted, but, she's going to. So it's going to be awesome. All right, guys, so I'm all out of time today. Sorry for the inconvenience. Definitely love you guys. Hope you guys stay tuned for Emran's GSMC Deadball podcast starting in about 14 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Be sure to follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network. Also, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have all these other amazing podcasts to check out. We got football, we got baseball, we got basketball. We have absolutely everything under the sun. Absolutely free, too. So make sure you like and subscribe. Hope you guys had an amazing Friday. Have a safe, fun weekend with you and your loved ones. Stay beautiful. And, of course, love you.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow. Feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit and the coffee ain't hit yet.